Hi, everyone online. Thanks for being flexible and switching to online with, if you're in Madison with ice rain happening outside. It's wonderful that we can still all be together online. So thank you for showing up and continuing to be part of the community and do your practice. So with all of that, let's start. So just like normal, let's find a comfortable seated shape, or if you prefer, you can start lying on your back. Okay, so I'm gonna start just sitting like crisscross applesauce today, but you can sit definitely, on a chair, you could sit on a cushion, you could lie back in constructive rest pose. That's where we'll head after we sit for a little bit and check in and breathe. So finding your comfortable shape, giving yourself a couple moments to settle. And bringing awareness and attention to your body. So as we start with the physical body, gentle reminder, each one of us has agency and choice over what we do. So meaning if something doesn't feel physically comfortable, it doesn't feel energetically or mentally stable or grounding, feels a little scary or causes anxious feelings, back out. Okay, so the main goal here is that we really take care of ourselves and we nurture and nourish what we need. Okay, so as we settle into the physical body, this practice of embodiment, feeling the body in relationship to our breathing, feeling our body in relationship to what we're sensing, to what we're thinking, what we're paying attention to. And reminding ourselves that these practices are not about what is right and wrong or good or bad. These practices are all about curiosity and being kind to ourselves. So practicing moving through the next 45 minutes with kindness and curiosity. Coming back to that feeling of the ground supporting you, the earth beneath you. If you're sitting and you want to put an extra hand on the floor to really feel that stability, go for it. Put your hand down, feel the steadiness. If you're on your back, feeling all those points of contact with the earth. We'll settle and take a couple of breaths. Just breathing authentically in and out. If it's accessible to you, breathing in and out through your nose. Let's just try to follow 3 breaths. Draw your attention, focus. Be curious about it. 3 breaths. And then taking 1 or 2 more breaths here. Let's transition and come onto your backs into that constructive rest pose. So remembering constructive rest pose is when we bend the knees and we lie on the back with the arms down by your sides. Okay, so come back down onto the floor. Give yourself a moment to transition to feel the body connect again into the earth. And then the last few classes, we've really been talking about engaged breathing. And so right now, you might feel a little more space and flow breath in the belly. So when you inhale, the belly expanding. And as you exhale, the belly releasing or contracting in. We've been talking and trying to embody and understand that feeling of more tone through the inhale and through the exhale. So noticing that you still can feel breath down in these lower abdominals. So if you had like a corset or a cummerbund on, you can still feel the breath all the way around your cummerbund. And there's still a feeling of flow, of lift and lower, space and release. And there's a feeling of tone weaved throughout the inhale and exhale. So some of you might do Pilates, and in Pilates, we often refer to this as a scoop. So as you exhale, your navel draws down. And as you inhale, you keep some of that tone and you inhale. So you thread the feeling of the scoop into your inhale. Let's try 3 breaths. And then let's take this engaged abdominal breathing into our dead bug. We're going to mix up dead bug a little bit differently today. We're going to bring the knees up over your hips. Okay, and we're going to straighten and bend the knees 5 times just to get into your hamstrings a little more. See if you can really keep your rectangular core strong and stable. Thigh bones don't need to move. You're just hinging at the knees. And then the next time your heels come up, pause. And then come back to the awareness of your core area, to your core, meaning from your shoulders to your ribs to your hips. It's really easy here if you're tight in the low back to push the low back down and tuck all of this up, okay? So we don't want to necessarily tuck in the tail or roll the pelvis in, trying to keep your tailbone rolling out, level hips. So you might have to bend your knees a little bit, and then you're going to pull your toenails down to get some stretch through the back of the leg. And then we're going to bring your arms up. And 5 times, we're going to take your arms out nice and wide, float off the earth, and pull them back up. So now the only thing that really needs to move are your shoulder blades and your arms. Everything else is going to be really steady, stable, strong. See if you can feel movement in the shoulder blades and the arms. And then feel the stability of the spine and the pelvis and the legs. And then the next time your arms come out wide like a T, we're going to bend the knees. We're going to exhale, straighten the legs and pull the arms up. We're going to inhale, open and bend. And exhale, straighten and pull. With your breath, 3 more times. And you keep that engaged abdominal breathing in your awareness. Next time all the limbs are up towards the ceiling, we're going to pause. We're going to take everything out like a V or an X and pull it all. Arms and legs moving independently out of that rectangular core. If you want more challenge, pause, redefine your core, And take your left arm and your right leg out and pull them back in. Right? Can you keep the back of the shoulders, ribs, and hips really strong and stable down on the earth as you just move the arm in the socket, the leg in the socket. Go side to side. Try not to hold your breath. Keep breathing. Inhale out. Exhale in. One more time on each side. You can do this symmetrical. You can keep both arms and legs moving out at the same time. Last one. Bring everything up. One more challenge is push out through your heels. Draw your arm bones down so they're nice and anchored in the back of the socket. See if you can now just take some awareness to the back of the ribs. Try to keep the back of the ribs down. And in relationship to the back of the ribs down, can you keep a little bit of lumbar curve there as you stretch your arms overhead? Now reach your fingernails out of your hip creases. You're going to take your hip crease and think of your hip crease going out towards the end of that mat, of the edge of that mat as your arms go back in opposition. And then if you want more challenge, push out through your heels. Try not to change the shape of your back and lower your heels a little bit. Find just the right shape for some challenge and take 3 engaged breaths. With your third exhale, woo, all the limbs come up and then all the limbs come down. And we let everything rest for 3 breaths. You might let all of those abdominal muscles that just work so hard rest. You might come back to that really fluid belly breath. Might feel a little more breath in your chest, your ribs, the residue down in your belly, side body, low back. And then with an exhale, we're going to roll over and just come up to sitting for just a moment. Before we have to bear weight on the wrist, let's just do a little bit of wrist warm up, okay? So we're going to bring your arms out in front, find flexion here. And at the same time, it's a really nice exercise to feel the arm bone nice and strong in the back of the shoulder. So the arm bone can draw this way a little bit back. You can feel the ribs draw down and in, and then lengthen in that mid-back area, okay? And then just pushing out through your palms. And then pointing and going down. If you want to add on from here, curl your fingers in, make gentle fists and go down and open and curl in. Okay. And notice the whole interconnection here of the fingers to the palms, to the wrists, to the forearms, all the way up the arms into the shoulders. One more. And then we'll bring the arms down by your side. Great, and then we're gonna stand all the way on up. So figuring out how to come all the way on up to standing. And we're gonna start with the legs in parallel. So just bringing your legs under your hips. And then in your own understanding here, we want to start in a little more symmetry or midline. So ears in line with shoulders, ribs, and hips. Okay, so it's easy to have maybe your pelvis a little bit forward. It's also easy to have your pelvis tip back a little bit. Or maybe you're standing a little more with your pelvis forward and your ribs forward. So, okay. Finding that feeling of symmetry. Take 2 or 3 breaths. Again, come back all the way to grounding, into the ground, into the earth. Back to that feeling of embodiment, being in your body with your breath. We're going to work on side body length. So defining the side of your body. So we start at your ankle, up to your lateral knee, through your lateral hip point, side body, shoulder, ear. Okay? So we're going to start by swinging your arms out. Double arm shake, handshake. We're going to take the arms up. Trying to maintain midline. So sometimes when the arms come up, if the shoulders are tight, we'll push the chest forward. So check in that your ribs are still down and in. You still have a little bit of that scoop feel in your belly and your navel. So it's strong cummerbund feeling. And then we're going to take your right hand, grab your left wrist. Okay, so when we come up to stretch over, we're not necessarily doing a side bend. We're just pulling that left arm up out of your left heel to try and feel some length through the ribs, the shoulder blades slide up. And at the same time, as you go up, you really need to feel down, okay? So from that hip point down too, you're anchoring through the leg into the heel, and we're looking for length. We're looking to keep these 2 hip points facing pretty much straight ahead with your belly button. Take a nice inhale, and then full exhale to let the ribs draw down and in, and then switch arms. Grab your right arm. Find your anchor points. Down is going to help you stretch up. Not necessarily side bending, we're just going up. And then we can exhale, double hand arm shake, and let the arms come down. Anchor into your feet a little bit. We'll just add a little bit of a chair squat. So a little bit of weight in the heels, taking your hip creases. So you're taking the hip creases back to your chair comfort. Okay. And then we're going to come up 3 times, just warming up in the hip sockets, the knees, and the ankles. We're going to add the arms. Okay. So we're going to swing the arms back here, and then we're going to swing the arms up and go for length through the side body. Swing the arms back, shoulders broad, back ribs broad. One more time. Come all the way on up to standing, reach up. Reconnect the legs into the earth. Feel the grounding, help provide the stretch, the length, the strength to stretch up. And now find your chair squat. Sit down to your comfort. Take a couple of breaths, scoop the belly, space across the back ribs, length from your hips through your ribs, out your fingertips. Put a little more weight in your heels, and then exhale. It's going to be a long, strong forward fold over. Keep your knees bent, stretch and reach. Maybe your fingertips come to the floor. Maybe your hands come onto your thigh bones. Shoulders slide down out of your ears. Rebuild that strong table feel. And then with awareness, feel your feet and shift the weight a little more into the balls of the feet. Scoop that belly feel, so navel draws up. Exhale, fold. Inhale into your back, and then exhale, stretch all the way back up, super tall. Now exhale, arms to the side, take 2 or 3 breaths. Remember, from a place of curiosity, come back to your experience. From a place of kindness, come back to your breathing. With your next exhale, step your feet wide. Hands can come up onto your hips. So we want to feel and define this soft tissue part here, the hip crease. So you have a hip crease and you have a hip bone, okay? So we want to fold or tip from the crease. So you're going to draw the hip crease back to tip. We want to lead from that hip crease to come over to like that wide leg tabletop feel. Then we want to come back up and feel that hip crease draw forward into your hands, okay? So that hip crease draws back. We keep the shoulders broad. We keep the chest open. One more time. This time when we come up, let's add a little bit of a challenge. So I'm going to step sideways so you can see the challenge. Okay, so as we tip forward, we don't need to change the shape of the spine. Okay, I'm just moving my hands out of the way so you can see the hip creases. They're going to draw back, and we're going to try not to round anywhere in the back. So your spine can keep that more tabletop neutral plank-like shape. And then we're going to come all the way back up. Great, we're going to do it one more time, and this time we're going to pause when you get to your table. So hip creases draw back. Hands can come on your thigh bones. Chin can tuck, and we can look at the floor a little bit. Now I'll come back to the idea of symmetry, but be curious about it, right? Are your shoulders symmetrical? Your ribs, your hips? Take a breath and then push into your feet and come all the way on up. Left leg's gonna roll in. Right leg's gonna roll out. Just 3 times. Let's just warm up ankle, knee, hip so you can inhale, bend, and exhale, straighten. Okay, next time your right leg is straight, pause. So from your left heel all the way up to your left hip, through your rib cage to your shoulder, let's take your left arm up. So going for that length again. So as you push in the left heel, can you feel yourself get taller, longer, even through your spine, right? Like your spine is getting more space. Find that scoop feel, abdominals connect, ribs draw down. Try to keep that feeling energetic length as you bend your right knee to your capacity. Now you're going to take your right arm up. From your right heel, even though your right knee's bent, can you feel that right side body? Long, 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 long. 2 breaths. Keeping your arms up with your next exhale, straighten your right leg. Bring your legs back around. Forward fold, hip creases first. Strong legs as you do your forward fold. Fold long on the way over. Maybe your finger pads come down. Let your head hang. Inhale, lift your chest. Maybe bring your hands up to your shins or your thigh bones if you need. You can keep your finger pads on the floor. Refine that connection to standing table. More challenging, you're going to take your arms out like T's. Knit the ribs, pull the navel up, and with an exhale, sweep the arms all the way back up, stretch to the ceiling. Exhale, hands to your hips. Right leg rolls in, left leg rolls out. So right heel this time, all the way up to the hip through the ribs and the shoulder. Bending and straightening the left leg 3 times. Right. Next time the left knee straight, just pause, get really long through the right side, maybe taking that right arm up. Bending the left knee to your capacity. Left arm comes up, feel the length in both side bodies for 2 or 3 breaths. Exhale, straightening the left leg. Both legs come back. Forward fold. Reach the hip creases back long, long, long and strong as you fold. Fingertips to the floor, maybe to the shins or the thigh bone. Inhale, lift your chest, build your table. More challenging, taking your arms out like wings. Navel to spine. Exhale, come all the way on up. Keep the arms up this time if you want more challenge. Left leg rolls in. Right leg rolls out. Find the length through the side body as you ground. Find your anchor and stretch. Right knee bends. Exhale from the hip crease, tip. Inhale, come up. Exhale, tip. Inhale with your breath. This time we're going to tip. Elbow comes down to your thigh bone. And I'm just going to kind of tip around, rotate. So you're looking a little more towards the floor. And you're going to reach your left arm way out of your left heel. So if you look out at your left palm, it's facing in, thumbs on top, and you're pulling your fingertips out of your back heel. Okay, you're going to keep that length as you rotate your chest towards the right. Maybe keep your arm in front of your ear or taking it up to the ceiling. So you have your arm up. You can have your arm in line with your ear. 3 breaths, side angle or extended side angle, getting length through that top left side of your body. And a little more challenge, push into that right elbow to lift up. And with an exhale, connect to your core and come all the way on up. Great, spin the legs in. Exhale, take your arms out wide and stretch. Good, fold all the way forward. Inhale when you're ready, lift your chest. Take your arms out into a T, engage the core. When you're ready, exhale, come all the way up. Keep the arms lifting out of the legs. Keep the legs anchored and grounded. Right leg rolls in. Left leg rolls out. Get the length and the strength. So ribs stay knit. Bend the left knee. Remember, we want to tip at the hip. So you're moving from the hip crease. You're using your core to come up. Try to keep that length from the right heel all the way. How long can you feel to your right fingertips? This time the left elbow comes down to the left knee. If you look up, your right palm is facing in. You're stretching that right arm out of your back right heel. Okay? We rotate the chest down to the floor a little bit and really take the fingertips out of the back heel. Then we decide maybe we want to keep the chest rotating open a little more so you can spin your chest a little more to the ceiling and reach that arm, or maybe take the arm up to the ceiling. 3 breaths. How long can you feel from your right heel to your right fingertips? And then push into that bottom left arm to lift. Exhale, pull yourself up with strength. Steer your feet. Knees face forward. Exhale, sweep your arms up, stretch, and anchor. So this is active and strong. You're drawing your ribs down and in, your navel supporting the low back. And you're going to fold over slowly. Reach, 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 reach. Fingertips, finger pads can touch the floor. Inhale, lift the chest. Navel to spine, strong, anchored through the earth. Wings if you want to take your arms out wide. Ground, exhale, come all the way on up, stretch. Great, keeping your legs nice and strong and heavy. Maybe you find a little bit of a bend, okay? So finding that center of gravity, finding those two hip points, okay? Now when you side bend, try not to move the pelvis. So now we're reaching high, up, and long. We're trying not to move the hips. So define your hips, move from the rib cage. So might feel as if you're going over to the right ribs cut in a little bit. Come up. The left ribs cut in a little bit. Not from the hips, from the abdominal rib connection. One more to each side. Keep the arms up as you come back. Stretch, maybe straighten the legs a little more. Step it all together. Legs parallel. Anchor down to lift up. Chair pose. Taking your hip creases back. Exhale, reach to fold forward. When you're ready with an inhale, lift the chest. Maybe find airplane wings and reset and knit through your spine. Exhale, fingertips come back down. You're going to walk forward or back, however you need to, and find and build downward facing dog. Bend your knees, take your hip creases back. Give yourself a moment, pedal out your feet if you need, feel, breathe. I'm going to be quiet so you can explore your downward facing dog. Remember embodiment from a place of curiosity and kindness. And then with an exhale, lower down to your knees. Practice breathing right here in tabletop. 5 breaths in silence, giving you an opportunity to hear, notice, and feel out the breath through your body. If you'd like a little more challenge here, walking your feet back one at a time and building a straight arm plank. So you can hold your plank for a little bit. You can take one knee down if you want. You're gonna hold plank. You feel engaged, abdominal breathing, really strong through the core. Hamstrings, back of the legs are gonna push up a little bit. Come down to your knees when you need to. Hold just a little bit longer. Exhale, if you haven't already, let your knees come down. Pull your chest forward just a little bit and then try for 3 push-ups. Inhale down, exhale, push up. Fabulous, wherever you are, give yourself a big internal hug, come back to gratitude, strength through your breath, strength through your body, sit back into a child's pose. Or if you prefer, roll onto your back. Come to a shape where you can just savor your breath. And then again, we're going to take 5 nice, quiet breaths. And then practice letting go, coming back to your breathing. We're going to roll back onto our backs. So as you come back onto your back, let's take your arms down by your side, palms face down. Heels, pretty much in line with your sit bones. We don't want the legs out really, really wide. We want the legs in a little more. So we're more in a container, okay? They don't have to be exactly in line with your sit bones, but we just don't want them extra wide, okay? So feeling these points of contact, let's just savor, get to be on my back for 3 or 4 breaths, nothing else to do but lie back and breathe. This might be a nice day to close your eyes and visualize yourself under some sunshine. Sun's nice and warm and you're relaxing. And then letting go of that warm, sunny feeling, or maybe you just blend that warm, sunny feeling into this. We're going to press into your heels. I'm going to press into the back of the shoulders a little more. So it's not like you're forcing your shoulders down, but you want to feel some strength through the back of the shoulder and the tricep. So we're just going to push those parts down for a couple breaths and see what we feel engages. Then I'm going to let that go. Then with an exhale again, back of the arms, back of the shoulders, and the heels. And you might start to push so much that you feel your butt and your pelvis get light and come up. And then we're going to lower down. So we're going to play a little down creates up game. Back of the shoulders, back of the arms, heels push, pelvis lifts. One more time, down creates up. So you're pressing down so much that your pelvis just goes, woo, it's nice and light and it comes up. It doesn't have to come up very high. And then we want to feel the knees drifting more forward, like they could one day, someday go over the toes. So you're going to get longer in your front and low back. And yes, if you were curious and wondering about engaged breathing, yes, you want to have that feeling of scoop. You really want to have your lower abdominals nice and strong to support the length of the low back. So when you feel really long, if you want more challenge, then the hamstrings start to engage more, and the pelvis can press up a little bit higher. You are still very anchored in your feet, in the back of the shoulders and the triceps. And then exhale, let your chest relax and roll down. Give yourself a couple of breaths. Great, we'll do one more bridge. So see if it can come from down creating up feel, okay? So you're gonna ground so much through your heels and the back of your shoulders and your arms that your pelvis lifts up. And just pause when you get it up a little bit. Soften through your chest. Press up higher, longer. Try to go for length first. You don't want to give up length. Maybe go for height. Find just the right challenging bridge for you, where you can feel your glutes and you can feel your hamstrings. And then more challenging is going to be trying to relax your throat and your chest. So give yourself that challenge. Whoa, give yourself that challenge. Kind of swallow that word. 3 breaths. Keep your strength as you lower down. And then just hang out on your back. Draw your knees up over your hips, hold on to the back of the legs, and roll on up to sleep. Great. Crisscross applesauce or have your legs out in front of you. Stabilize your low belly, low back. Remember, it's the rib cage, thoracic spine we want to work with. Gentle twist to the right. Exhale all the way over to the left. Back to center. Take your left arm up, anchor in the left sit bone, feel all that length. Take your right arm up, all that length, and twist to the right. Arms can come down. Bring your arms up, twist to center, lengthen, over to the left. Inhale, arms lift up, back to the center. Anchor, knit the ribs, and lift. And then let your arms come. Hands can rest on your knees. So as we come towards the end of practice, checking back in with yourself. Remembering how we started from a place of kindness and curiosity. Coming all the way back. Maybe you want to come back to seated. Maybe you want to roll all the way back into constructive rest pose again. Put a hand on the floor for more grounding. So as you check in with your physical body, this might lead to checking in with your energetic body, your thinking body, spiritual body. Give yourself a moment from a place of kindness and curiosity. How are you doing? You have like 3 or 4 minutes. What would help you out here? Maybe some stretching, maybe some relaxed breathing, maybe some meditation. We're all really different. So if you want relaxed breathing, we're going to let go of that tension in the belly. We come back to that belly breath. If you want some meditation, finding your breath and letting your breath be an anchor, you can count your breathing lengths. You can count your breathing. You could lie back in Shavasana, outstretching your legs and rest completely. So each one of us finding some self-care. We'll take the last couple minutes here in silence. And practicing letting go as you let go of that thought and come back to your body. Body breathing. Can we pay attention? Can we feel one full inhale and one full exhale? When you feel the next exhale, start some really simple movements. Maybe tapping your fingers, wiggling your toes. You could draw your knees into your chest, rolling over or rolling up. And as you come on up to sitting, resetting the sit bones into the earth, feeling the ground support you. And let's just practice 3 breaths together. So just knowing that you're in community, even if you can't see everyone practicing here together, we're all here together, breathing in, breathing out. With your next exhale, if your eyes haven't already, gently open, letting your eyes gently open. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Thank you so much for showing up today, for being a part of practice.